I'm gonna do a review on Man of Steel. Now, I saw Man of Steel early in the theaters. I got a special screening. I saw it in 3D. Don't see it in 3D. It's not. It's not worth seeing in 3D. It's more of a you gotta watch it, and if you wanna go back and see it in 3D, it's that. But I saw it in 3D because it was I got it for free. I I didn't like the 3D. 3D was no, it was not good. But I want to get more into the story. Now, how do I feel about the Man of Steel? Well, I liked it, and then I didn't like it. There's things what I liked about it, and there's things what I hate about it. I'll get into what I like about it, what I hate about it, um, characters, the ending, and Man of Steel 2 and Justice League at the end. But right now I want to talk about the story. It's the origin of Superman. If you didn't know, I don't know why you wouldn't. Um, he comes from Krypton. Krypton's about to explode. His parents sent him off to Earth and hope that he'll be a godlike to them and be helpful. The Krypton scene was beautiful. Yeah, it felt like a science fiction movie. Like I was watching like another movie. Like, oh, this is not, Superman, but it was great. I could still tell it was Krypton here and there. I was like, oh, I know that's Krypton because there's the Council and there's the House of L, there's General Zod. I knew that hey, this was Krypton. But then there was things where I was like, wait, why this is not Krypton? There was with like the genetics that make Kryptonians what they're gonna do. Like, oh, I'm gonna be a farmer or something. It just, I was like, what is this? This is not a Superman thing. But I guess it kind of worked out, but it sort of didn't. Um, well, the alien creatures were interesting, but I was like, you don't need them. I mean, you just talk to the council saying, oh, we're gonna, General Zod attacks, da da da. But like, the main point is Krypton's going to explode. That's what you need to cover, and they gotta send their son out of Krypton, and that's what they should. I mean, yeah, it was. I think it was 20 minutes long. I don't know why it was 20 minutes long. It could have been. I would say 15 would be great, but 10 would be perfect too. Just to get the point across. Hey, we gotta take him out, and sending generals out to the Phantom Zone. Um, the Phantom Zone was interesting. Let me tell you that, but I'll get more into that later. Um, and later he goes into Earth, and I like how he's not just, he goes to the farm, grows up, and the flashback scenes were alright, but I think they could have just went, here's him as a kid. He has an experience where he had to be Superman, and then his dad told him no, and then they tell him, oh, this is why you're Superman, and then maybe say, oh, if I had to make it, I would do that, and be like, I want to get away, and just realize who I am in life, and become who I become, and then one day I will be grow up and become Superman when the time needs it most. And it kind of fell for that for Man of Steel, but what the thing about it is that it was flashbacks, and and he was just working. He worked at an oil rig. He didn't work at an oil rig. Sorry, he saved the oil rig. My bad. He worked on a boat. He was working on a boat for catching fish and crab, that stuff. And he had to save him because it was about to explode, and he had to. Now, what else happened in there is that he worked at a bar, and it showed where he. So when Jonathan Kent was like, you need to grow up to be who you want to be. Now, you see it kind of in the bar scene when he gets the beer thrown at him, and it showed, hey, I'm not going to go punch him or anything. He gets back at him with the truck, but, that's just, it's not like he killed him or anything or hurt him. He just messed up his truck. But it was really interesting how they developed him. And then I don't know. Again, I don't know why he went to Antarctica, but that's where he found the 2,000-year spaceship from Krypton. I don't leave a comment below why, because I saw it 3 days before the opening, so I don't know. When Lois Lane got into it, I was like, what? Why is she in there? Like, I kind of like in the comics and then in the old movies, which we'll be doing a review on the old movies. Um, I liked how she didn't know. Sometimes she was like, oh, maybe Superman and Clark Kent, maybe they're the same, but she didn't know exactly. I like that. I like that in the films, back one. Now this one, she just knew. She was like, "Wait, I did some research on you, and you're from a farm in Kansas and Smallville, da 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 da." Well, I, li- if I had to do it, I would save it till Man of Steel 2. But it also worked out. Again, I'll talk to you later in the ending. But it was great. I mean, the movie's great. But what I was saying is, he gets in there and he finds, oh, I'm from Krypton. He learns all of his story and who his dad looks like, and uh, I loved the hologram, and that was great. It Some people hated it. I loved it. I liked how he was just pointing out, hey, go here and there. Again, I'll say that later. Um, but then he finds a suit and he's like, now I can become Superman. And he has the test flight where he flies around. And he's like, oh wow, I can fly. I love that how his face was like, oh my god, I can fly. It was like an Iron Man when he learned how to fly. And is there any more? I would say Peter Pan, but I'm getting too kid like. But then he knew, oh, I had to save him, and then the tracker beam and the spaceship went off and alerted General Zod, hey, come to Earth. And I loved the scene when he, goes into the TVs and he's like, you're not alone. I just smiled in the theater. I was like, this is amazing. This is beautiful. It's just, it works great with him, saying, I'm going here to find the son of Jor-El. Oh wait, is it? I'm sorry. I'm not really that great with knowing the names of the L, so sorry. Um, if that's right, no, leave a comment. But no, it was Joel, and then Kal-El is son. My bad. Now, um, they have, you know, the Jonathan Kent scene when he dies was, what they should have had him die, then the tombstone, yeah. But I loved how he went back for the dog, and he was like, "Don't show him, don't show your Superman yet. Like, whoa, just hold up there." He's like, "You're not ready to become Superman." He's like, "This is not the time when." It's like you don't need to save him, and so. Hey, Superman's here, but it was also bad. He was like, "Well, maybe Superman does need him at this moment. Maybe there's something about." Maybe something's going on in the world that Superman needs. But when General Zod comes, it is a time when he needs him most. Trying to remember. I remember he calls out Superman. And he's like, come here, and we want to invade Earth. So, he goes and pretty much just says, "Hey." Oh, and then they also call out Lois Lane. I forgot who calls Lois Lane out, but they go on the spaceship. I'm skipping ahead. I'm not getting every single detail. They go to the spaceship, and there's Krypton, not like the stone or we know in the comics and in the old movies, but just like in the air, or it's like in the gravity. It's just in the atmosphere is what they're saying Krypton is. And I would love to have a stone. It'd be perfect. But it was okay, whatever. And Jor-El, you know what? It was interesting how he was, pointing, helping Lois Lane. I was like, Lois Lane, really? I know she's a big part of Superman, but like, why are you helping her out? He's more of a Superman. He helps more of his son out than Lois Lane. It was just like, why are you doing that? I know you're trying to help, but yeah, well, they wrote it in there for something. Now, the whole idea of why General Zod is coming back, why he's coming to Earth, is to make Earth new Krypton. Um, he's like making the gravity just like it is in Krypton by using the machine. Don't know the name, I forgot, but it was interesting. I'm like, oh, well, okay. He's like, you're gonna make the last of you guys, Kryptons, and like, he wants what is embedded in Superman's brain. I forgot what it is, but I know it's like. All the It's like Krypton's history and stuff. Well, he needs it to create new Krypton, and I was like, I get that. Okay, I know you want that to make new Krypton, but I know if if I made the movie, I would have General Zod enslave all of Earth. Um, but the fight scenes were great when he was in Smallville. A lot of product placement, but well, what are you gonna do? But it was interesting how he hasn't equally matched in the first movie too. Like, it wasn't like in the second movie, like in The Dark Knight, where he hasn't equally matched, or in Superman 2, when it is General Zod, they're equally matched. This is just they're equal match now. So it was interesting, and the fight scenes were great. There's a lot of it. I would love a little bit more. Like, Henry Cavill was a great Superman, but I would like a little. He didn't talk that much. He had words here and there, but they weren't a lie. It was just here or there. It, but anyways, I'm getting to the end here now. Um, they get the black hole. If you didn't see the movie, you won't be understanding what I'm talking about. But they have the black hole, and it just sucks in everybody, all the Kryptonians. Oh, and just Metropolis just destroyed. I don't think there's a building standing, and I'm like, oh my. So, Superman was fighting that one thing in the other side of the world, and there's people dying. Perry White's trying to save the girl. Oof. How many people died was just a question. That's what they have. The next movie should be, is how many people died and why they should hate Superman. But again, I don't think they'll do that. But it was just so destruction, and how are you just gonna put that in the first movie? Like, in The Dark Knight Rises, just Gotham was crap, and it was just destroyed. And this was the last of the Batman films. This is the first of the Superman films. This is probably gonna be a trilogy. I'm assuming, but just destroyed. It's got Superman. Man of Steel 2 has got to take place 5 years if they're gonna have Metropolis all fixed. But anyways, they have destruction, and they think everything's good, and Lois Lane and Superman kiss. Big deal. General Zod is still alive. So now this has to be a fight to the death, because that's the only way good and evil can be resolved. The fight scene goes on for, I want to say, 15 minutes. I'm not sure, but it was great. I loved it. I liked the LexCorp in it. I was like, hey, look, LexCorp. And, I was like, oh, wow, Lex Luthor's going to be in the next one. And then they had the Wayne Manor. Wayne Enterprise, my bad. It was great. I love the little Easter eggs. Those always make me feel better. But, it, now, spoiler alert, because I'm going to talk about the ending and what happened at the end. So, what happened at the end was he had General Zod in like a headlock, and he was like, talking to him, and there was a kid. They're in like a train station. There's a family in the corner. Now General Zod, because he got kind of used to Earth's air and everything, and he has the powers of Superman, so he can use his laser beam eyes, and he was about to kill him, but Superman snapped General Zod's neck. Now, there's a lot of controversy saying, Superman can't kill. Maybe he can kill. I think he did the right thing about killing him, because how are you gonna how are you gonna resolve this? Are you just gonna put him in jail? He can't be put in jail. There's no kryptonite, so he has to die. I mean, there's no jail for General Zod, and they can't send him out in space because he'll come back. And they can't put him in the Phantom Zone because who will take him? But, I mean, you can get deep into that, and maybe there could be. But just in the movie, what are you going to do? So, they had to kill him. Superman breaks down and cries to Lois Lane, saying, I'm pretty sure the family died. I'm not sure. Didn't. They just showed him using the laser beams, and it's dead. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened. But the ending was, he went to the Daily Planet, and he becomes Clark Kent as the news reporter, like in the comics and all that. He had the glasses. I'm not sure if he has a slouch or, cause this is posture, cause that's just great. Christopher Reeve pulled that off, switching him off. Superman and Clark Kent. It was perfect. Like, he was all mumbling and and then Superman was just, I'm Superman. It was great. I love that. But yeah, you're getting ready for the second one, because now, and Lois Lane at the end says, "Welcome to the planet. Welcome to our planet." I love that. I was like, now that I guess that he's now he's now a savior after the destruction and everything, but now he's a part of Earth. He's a savior. He's a watch out. So it was great, that he was now a part of Earth, and now he's Clark Kent, and I don't know what's gonna be with him and Lois Lane. But I want to get into individual characters just for a little bit. Henry Cavill was Superman, great, loved him. Could have just talked a little bit more and show a little bit of emotion. My bad. He'd been. No one can beat Christopher Reeve, Superman. He's great, perfect. But he wasn't as great, but he was good. He was a good Superman. He will be a great Superman for the rest of the DC cinematic. He'll just be great for it. Lois Lane. She did great. She was smart. That was great. She's smart like in the comics. She's smarter, but she knew Superman was Clark Kent, so that was interesting. General Zod. He was a great villain. I loved who played him. The name escapes me right now, but he was great. But I think the Superman 2 General Zod was way better. I don't know, because he was just always like Neil before Zod. He was just, I want to make planet Krypton, and he was embedded to protect Krypton and all that. So I understand why he's doing it. Jor-El, Russell Crowe did great. He was a perfect father to Superman. I mean, that's all I could really say. I don't want to get too in depth, um, but you know, the other characters, they're great. You know, Jonathan Kent, Martha Kent, Barry White, great. Flora, I think her name is. Sorry, I'm not really sure about her name, but they all did great. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about Man of Steel 2 and Justice League. Man of Steel 2 should definitely just be about Lex Luthor. If I had to make it, I would say, so when General Zod and Superman are fighting, they are in the destruction of, they're like fighting in the building of LexCorp, the building of LexCorp. So what they should do is Lex Luthor should come in and be like, Superman is a threat, and he should have people turn on Superman, and Superman would have to find. I would say like Lex Luthor will be creating his like the machines and like the animated series and all that. How he has the robot suit. I think he should be doing that, and Superman's gonna find that out and show to the public, hey, I'm a good guy. He's like, that was just protecting you, and Lex Luthor is really the bad guy. That's all I really want to talk about. And they should have it, not in Man of Steel 2, but they should have a great name. Like in The Dark Knight, it was The Dark Knight Batman Begins. They should have a great name for it. The Justice League, I don't know why they're shooting for 2015. It's the year of movies, but they should push it a little bit farther. Darkseid should be the villain. He'd be great. Now, the characters should be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, and I'm in love with Martian Manhunter, so they should at least just give him a hint in there or put him in. Oh, he's my favorite. But I think if DC does is great, is to have the perfect movies. I think they should try to have a standalone Flash and Wonder Woman. And if they have that, they'll have a great movie. They'll have the perfect Justice League, like the Marvel to the Avengers. They laid them up. They should have that for the Justice League. I mean, if they don't, I'll still see it, and I might love it. It depends on how they're going on it. But I really hope they pull off the Justice League. Alright, that wraps up my review of Man of Steel. Leave a comment below if you want to you want me to talk about any movies, any comics, or anything. Just leave a comment below. Please subscribe. Alright, goodbye. Thanks for listening.